Welcome to George Coll Fine Art. Here, the viewer is encouraged to get outside and paint from life. George's job is to provide the tools to solve the many technical challenges faced in rendering landscape paintings. View the library of landscape paintings offered and become a subscriber. You can also purchase tutorial videos, plus original tutorial and studio paintings. Thank you. And if you like what you see, click the subscribe button and join in on the fun.
Hello and welcome to part 2 of Kebler Ponds. Alright, today was Balance Day, so we tried to get these greens right that are up here, the sky and the different greens here around the ponds, and how they worked with each other. So I assigned some homework to some of you to take a look and work these trees, shaping the trees off camera maybe, and play around with the clouds and have some fun with this. Okay, so get outside and paint. Paint with your friends. Get critiques and don't be intimidated by a white canvas. All right, let's start painting. All right. Hello and welcome to part 2 of Kebler Ponds. So these are beaver ponds on Kebler Pass. All right, we described all that in part 1. And so in part 2, we want to get these basic colors balanced. We spent a lot of time with shapes in part 1, but in this one we want to really try to get these values right. And what I see when I was out there was how bright these shrubs were and how beautiful these trees are. I think I got the basic darks in the trees in, but I've got to get this color right and these colors right to really zing this painting the way I want it to be. All right, with that, let's start with trying to get a better mixture for the darks and lights in this area. First of all, let's go dark with Rut Gut Viridian, Ultra Blue, a little bit of brown, a little bit of red. That's dark. Okay. And this time I put out some permanent green, which I didn't have before, and I'll try that. So I'm putting out some permanent green, a very strong pigment, by the way. And we're going to put some yellow in it. And you see it really knocked down that yellow. Now we're going to go with some Naples. And we're going to go a little bit more yellow. And really push it with some cad yellow light. And let's add some white off to one side. All right. To put this down, I really want to make sure I'm getting the pigment in the right place, so I'm going to concentrate on working with some of the darks to make this story go back here a little bit, because the ponds are not showing very much in the background. So I'm going to put a pond here. So I'm going to use some olive for that, because olive's a good color for this kind of dull warm here in front. And I'm going to put some up in here. Come on. No, come on. We need more pigment. There we go. And now I think I'm going to use my connoisseur knife to get some nice areas back in here. And I'll put a bigger pond right here. I think I'm going to put a little dark right in here too. And I'll put some sky reflection in there in just a little bit. All right, so now let's see what this color looks like on part ones. Ooh, that does have more vibrancy. Man, that's saying something. Okay, that was the darker. Here's the lighter with more white and yellow. And let's get that in. That's even better. So let's get it in. I'll put more of the yellowy, lighter stuff here on the side. It has a little bit of white and more yellow in it. And I'll put that down more on the flatter sides of all this. And I'll put this darker stuff on the sides. And I'll put some back in here. And I'll put some right in here and here. Now you kind of see my shapes are coming out for the beaver ponds just a little bit more. And I'll brighten some of it up with my knife. On these thinner areas. And put some up in here. All right, so I'm just at 23 minutes, and let's get some of this richer stuff here, more permanent green, richer color on the slopes. I don't know if you can pick it up too much, but I can see here in the areas where I'm painting that it does make a difference. It's a big value difference. All right, I'm happy so far. We are in the midst of a very hot week, or month, geez, here in Colorado. I'm so tired. I have the air conditioner off while I'm taping, otherwise it makes a slight background noise, which I don't think is going to be too helpful for you all. But boy, I'll be glad when it's over. Now, off camera, what I'd like you to do is work into some of these trees and get some of these background colors. See how I'm coming into the edge of these trees and having inroads to show the background color. Oop, better get the right value color in there. And try to even use some smaller brushes to bring that about. So here's a little rigger I have. It is a number 0 rigger. You see how that can go in there and get some little inlets in there, so work on that. Because I'll be doing some of that off camera. But right now, I want to go back to just getting some good basic value change colors in here. but I still have a little work to do. Here and here and here. And trying to tell the story up in here. Right now we need to get back in here a little bit, and I'm wondering, since I do have some time, to see if I could come up with a good basic pine tree color for the light side. Okay? So let me just go back to a basic, okay? And that would be ultra blue and cad yellow medium. Let me get some out. Let me see what this is. Cad yellow medium. Nope, that's maples. Here it is. Cad yellow. It's just a student color. And I think we already have it, but let's double check. There it is. And the mixture between these two is kind of a good basic pine tree color. Watch. There we go. I think we're getting in there. Wish I would mix with my knife instead of my brush. And I'm going to put some cobalt blue in here. And I might as well get some sky color in there too. That lightened it up. Want a little bit more cobalt in here. I see more of a, in the trees up there, it was kind of a blue spruce type look. I know they're probably just regular pine trees, but from here it looks like a blue spruce look, and the cobalt helps with that. So let's go in here and get an idea of what I'm doing to say pine tree. And I will get more cobalt. More cobalt. Oh, I think that's doing it. Okay, so you can experiment with that. And we can move on to the aspen trees in the back. And I'd sure like to get some background color here. In here too. See how I'm just doing that? That's what you can do off color, or off camera, sorry. There you go. And if you need to reestablish a dark, just come back and reestablish it. There's some really neat edges of these shadows that I think are just worthwhile to play with too. See, I put some viridian in there to kind of shows a little bit of what's going on in these darks. There's some viridian. And kind of around the water you can see this lighter green also, so play with that. Not too difficult. Oh, that did make a difference. I like that. So a lot of these viridians out here on the edge of things here. Yes, take a look at the transitions between the darks and lights and see what that value color is. And if you have any light left over, you can put some here in your ponds, just a little bit. Just to say, I'm related to that pond in front. And there's another little tip for you to do, play with. All right, let's go to some bigger challenges up here. One thing I see is kind of a silver going through there, so I have a gray, a little bit of warm, some white, gray, warm, gray. These are Portland gray colors by Gamblin. And I see kind of a, well, it's got to be lighter, so I'm going to add some white to it. And I'm going to add some of that in here. Never hurts to have a nice defining light somewhere. It seems to be, in the majority of places, right in there. All right. One thing to make pine trees look like pine trees is to get some points on them. I'm adding some cobalt and cerulean to the mixture for the trees here. And if you just get some points here, you can see it can help out with describing what's going on. Points, points. So let's make an aspen color with a permanent green. This time, remember, use a palette knife. And white. This time, let's get some cad yellow medium, white, and some yellow. Cad yellow. Now one thing I see, it's not too far different than what's around it, but it is distinctly different. So I'm going to add some of this other color that we had in the pine trees right next to it. But now let's get into this part of the green, the lighter green. And let's get up in here and see what happens. So it looks a little bit more related to what's in front, but we're going to stick to our guns here and see what it comes out looking like. A little bit more white, a little bit more cad yellow medium. And it's starting to show some delineation between the two. And I'll put some in the gray. So I'm really looking at the reference quite a bit to get clues of shapes and values and how much I should dig into the darker trees around it. Oh, that's looking better out here. Okay. Kind of holding my breath and remembering to talk so I don't get too tense in all this. I'm going to put some darker green on the bottom of these aspen trees, right here and here. And I'll try some tricks here and get some something that looks like trunks in here. Do some up in here too. Does a little bit of good. And now I'm going to mix up some yellow, cad yellow light, and a lot of white. And I'm going to put some strong stuff here and here. And I'm going to put more of that lighter stuff in here and here, because this is really light. Wow. Now, let's see, my values are. Okay, I can see the difference between my two values more, between the base and the angled. And now I'm going to put some lights up in there. Up in here in various places. Okay, that was cad light. Cad yellow light. White. White. And just a little bit of Sevres, because it's kind of on the green side of blue, and it's a very light, it can go very light. All right. Let's think about the back mountain. So I'm going to just do some ultra blue and white. And more white. And I'm going to put some sort of a bluey type mountain up in here, just a hint. And bring him over to here. And I'll make him a little larger on this side. And with that, I'm going to work on clouds next. Let me look at my time. Okay, 7 minutes. I think we're doing okay. So I'll put my light here, put my blue here, mix up all these greens, and make one happy green. Sound like Bob Ross. Happy green. Okay. Okay, here we go. This is going to be a troubled area. It's not making sense yet. I might try to work on that off camera to make sure I have a slope in there. Okay. I think I need to get a little bit of Sevres and try it down here, okay? So we're going to go a little darker with the Sevres and introduce some darker blues. But I think I'm going to put out some pure white and run it over my blue sky to keep the purity. And to say, oh, these are clouds. My leftover white is a little contaminated, so I'm squeezing out some of the good stuff. Titanium white. It's kind of a thick, heavy white. I got used to it as an early painter, and I never got used to the more sophisticated stuff. Okay, so let's bring a cloud in from here and bring it off here. And bring it right down on the mountains. And bring it over here on the mountains. And let's just get a good swath of it right up in here. And some more over in this area here. I'll work off the edges here in just a second. And I think I need more right here. Well, even with a knife it looks halfway decent. Just don't be intimidated by clouds. They're fun. And I'm going to bring some clouds over on the horizon here. Now you say, boy, I sure whipped through a painting. I'm just doing this to give you some good basics as to how to get paintings going. And you can spend all the time you want to on detail, which I do particularly on my larger paintings. And the white does kind of accent the blue there a little bit and help out with what's what up there. Now let's go with some darker Sevres. That is the blue sky. So I've got a darker here, and as you can see, I'm going to whack that in there, there, and there, there. And I can reshape some clouds if I wish by just running it into the clouds. And look, looks pretty good. Now there's some in between clouds. You don't know if it's white or blue, and it's kind of a combination of the two, so just go in and soften it a little bit. With some blue, come back with white if it's not quite the right thing you wanted. What was that? Oh, my sister calling me from Montana. All right, I'll call her after the session. All right, I'm going to go back to my blue mountain. How am I doing on time? 2 minutes. So this is ultra blue. It's a good basic going back color for mountains and other great things. See, I just lightened it just a little bit, and I think that's going to be a really pretty color. Now if you want some snow in there, get some cobalt or cerulean and go in with white and cerulean, and you can make some. Oh, that didn't work. Well, I'm trying to push myself too fast and not think enough. I want to shape the top of that mountain just a little bit more. So I'm going to go in with white, and I'm going to push it down right here and just soften it up a little bit. And give a little dip on that side. And I'll run in some cerulean or some Sevres to give it some accent, sorry. And I'll run a little bit more mountain right in here. And there. Oh boy, that is it. You guys have worked me hard, so I'm going to turn the timer off so it doesn't scare me. And say, okay, work on this a little bit, particularly with shaping your pine trees. Make sure you have a good light on the base of these beaver ponds on the horizontal side, and on the verticals lighten them up a little bit. This isn't making much sense, so I have to work on that. But I like this introduction of viridian on the edges between the darks and the lights. Try it. Okay, that's part 2. All right. We'll see you in part 3 and we'll finish this thing. All right, bye-bye.